My name is Colt. This is a 2008 Nissan 350Z. So it's pretty much just a stock internal VQ35HR. I made this intake manifold. The factory one's that ugly plastic one, but I made that one here in the garage. It seems to work pretty good, and all the plumbing going up to it. Got a Soho Motorsports front mount intercooler. Titanium Works hooked me up with all the titanium hardware on the engine. The turbos are Turbonetics, the Super 60 model. They're like a 48 millimeter, and they're pretty small. They're kind of maxed out right now as much as they can do, but I had to go pretty small to run a twin setup. And they're controlled by 2 tile wastegates. I think they're 38 millimeter wastegates with a Turbo Smart manual boost controller. Turbo Smart blow-off valves, a custom oil catch tank with a water reservoir on it. I wanted to do a rear mount setup. Originally, that's kind of where the car started, just to be, because it was cheaper, you know, the other kits on the market are like 10 grand. So I decided to do a twin rear mount kit. So there's long tube headers that merge to a single 3-inch pipe, and they split back to each turbo back there. And then they come back, they merge to a single 2.5-inch pipe and then go to the intercooler and then come out and go into the intake manifold. There's a NACA duct in the back hatch, in the back glass that I made. Well, I didn't make the NACA duct, but the back hatch glass. And it goes down into a custom air box that I made using a K&N filter, and then goes down into the turbo, so you get some pretty fresh air that way. So yeah, I did 560 on the wheel dyno. RZG Motorsports tuned it for me in New Bern, North Carolina. It's making 12 pounds of boost. So it's tuned on E85 right now. It's going to a 485 fuel pump, and with the CJ Motorsports return system. It has the CJ Motorsports billet fuel rails and return system, and they're going to some fuel injector clinic 1200 cc injectors.
RPM does it get into boost?
I mean, it starts coming on hard about 4.5, you know, so.
That's like not too late. That's like pretty good.
Yeah.
Does this car have AC?
Yeah.
It does?
Yeah.
Wow,
Full
nice.
AC, yeah.
What about power steering?
Yeah, power steering, heat, everything. So, pretty much full interior except for the back. You know, the back's stripped
obviously.
out a little bit, but you guys can't see here.
That second gear hooked. It hooked pretty well. That felt really good. Oh Oh man. This car has me smiling like a little kid right now. I bet that never gets old, huh? No. That feels so good. Yeah. So as I'm sitting in here, I'm noticing that you have a couple of switches and a couple more down here. Can you walk me through what each switch does?
Yeah, so the only two on this, I'm just using these two right now. These are spares. One's probably going to be a line lock, but this one's for the oil pump from the turbos. It pumps it back to the pan. So, and then this one's just for the electronics. So they've got the AEM boost gauge and the air-to-fuel ratio. And then down here I have a control for each wheel, the height of each wheel with the hydraulics. And I relocated the cruise control down here because I use that for the rolling anti-lag and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty cool because this sits on the steering wheel, on the OEM steering wheel, right?
Yeah, so I traced out the wiring for it and I just relocated it to here. So it's still that same piece that's on the wheel. I just took it out and fixed it in there. So you can still have access, and the cruise control still works.
Oh, that's sick. And then you were saying earlier that you have AC and power steering.
Yep.
That's really cool.
Yep.
That's awesome, man.
So the transmission is, it's a stock transmission. It just has the spec twin disc clutch in it and the Z-Speed C-Mac kit. So I have Z1 Motorsports solid motor mounts and then the Z1 Motorsports solid engine mounts. And this is actually a base model, so I put a limited slip diff in the back with the Nismo differential cover, the cooling cover. So. Yeah, so the suspension is it's hydraulic, but it's working with coilovers. So it's kind of a mix between the two. So you can jack it up like a monster truck or lay it on the ground, you know. But it still handles, you know, like it's on a coilover. So instead of air suspension. The rear is a cantilever pushrod type style suspension. So you have a hydraulic cylinder that pushes on the bell cranks that pushes in the coilover, and they're QA1 mod series coilovers. The rear suspension is adjustable with the different locations on the bell cranks, and you can easily access all the valving and everything to change the dampening and everything else in it. There's a single 12-volt pump that supplies the pressure, and then a big manifold that controls each height of each wheel. On the front is, it's kind of in a stacked fashion. I made those brackets right here to hold the hydraulic cylinders. That's just the top point to kind of brace them up, and then they're braced underneath as well. And then the coilover stacked underneath of it, pushing on another set of QA1 coilovers. So the front is a BC forged LE52. It's a 19 by 11.5 with the Toyo R888, R305s. The rear is a 19 by 13 with the 345 Toyo tires on it. The brakes front and rear, they're from they're Brembos from SRT8 Jeep or something. I'm not really sure what they're from. And I have the Z1 drilled and slotted two-piece rotors. and then stainless steel brake lines. So yeah, I've been working on it about 3.5 years now, I think it's been. And like I said, it just started with the cheap way to do the turbos in the back, and then it turned into this huge project that it is now. You know, the wide body alone took like a year to get finished, you know, just work and everything else, you know. I just do this for a hobby, so it took a long time to get it to where it is now. So it's almost complete. It's not quite finished. It just has primer on it right now. Once I finish the bodywork, I can do a full paint job on it. I pretty much did all this right here in my garage. It's been difficult, but I enjoy doing it. I have a CNC router at my work, so I can use that to make car parts with. But I mean, even, you know, like this 6.5 foot sheet metal brake behind me, I had to make that to make the side skirts for the car. So it's been a long process just to get everything together and figure out how I was going to do it. A lot of nights spent on the computer, you know, trying to draw stuff up to see how I wanted to look and how it was going to work and all that. So the body, I kind of was going after that the GT500 cars, the race cars that you see. I was kind of inspired by those a little bit, the way those are designed, but I kind of just did my own thing. Brian McCann hooked me up with this nice bumper here that fit flawlessly from VIS Racing. And of course I chopped the hell out of it, chopped the center of it out, and made my own front splitter here. It's actually a solid, it's like 3/4 inch marine seaboard. And this stuff's pretty heavy, so I machined the whole bottom side of it out, cut a bunch of pockets in it to lighten it up, and then put a flat piece on the bottom, lightweight piece on the bottom for the airflow. And then I made that splitter support there in the center with the QA1 rod ends and the carbon fiber sleeves over the threaded rod. There's brake ducts on the front. They just go through some tubes to the front rotors. The whole wide body sheet metal, like I said, I had to make that 6.5 foot sheet metal brake behind me to make the side skirts. Just kind of pieced it together how I wanted it. Made the fender vents there on the front with the CNC. Kind of did it how I thought it should look and be somewhat functional, you know, to escape air. I just kept messing with it. A lot of nights with cardboard templates and cardstock to kind of form how I wanted it to look, and cut some sheet metal out and formed it and tacked it on there, and some Bondo on the corners, and she's still got a little bit of work to go, but it's pretty close. So on the inside, just a cage I made, I kind of had it and make it work with the suspension in the rear, so it's all kind of tied together. And then I have some Brom Racing seats and harnesses. Street Aero gave me that nice carbon fiber steering wheel. So I grew up on a farm, and just I've been doing this stuff my whole life, just fabrication and welding. My dad has taught me a lot of things, and I got into TIG welding a couple years ago, and I really enjoyed that. And then I got into, my work got a CNC machine, CNC router, and I learned CAD and CAM software and all that, and was able to create my own parts. And it's been kind of spiraling out of control ever since then. But I really enjoy it. It's just a hobby, you know. So I have 2 kids and all that, so I don't have too much time to spend on it. But I really enjoy it.
All right, guys, that'll do it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like. Let us know what you think in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next time.